are 3 levels or 3 kinds or 4 kinds of poverty. There is poverty by inheritance. Father poor, mother poor, uncle poor, auntie poor, nephew poor, nieces poor, a generation, a municipality of the poor. There are people that are so poor that poor people call them poor. So poor. Hate it. Some years ago, somewhat, a young man has been walking out of church to the glory of God. A young man came and knelt down and said, I want to be your son. I said, what do you do? He said, I'm a pastor. I said, no. Pastors are terrible to father. You father a businessman, you father a politician, but pastor, he knows what you know. Sometimes you talk to him, he already knows what you want to say. So it takes a person who totally is yielding and submissive to be mentored. So when he says the pastor, I said, no. And the Lord said, accept him. I said, okay, come. Give me your hand. I prayed with him. When I was done praying with him, I was working. He said, I do not have money to go back to my station. I said, excuse me, is this mentorship or sponsorship? He said, I need money. I gave him. I was going, he said, sir, one more thing. They said there is a pastor's conference. There's a conference coming up. I said, yes. He said, that means we'll come, we'll register, we'll book the hotel. I don't have money for that one. Give me. The Lord said, give him. I told myself, now I'm in trouble. I gave him. I left. When the conference began, I was outside. I saw people coming out from their vehicles. I spotted him. You know, you always recognize people who ask you for money. No, you know them. So I spotted him. I turned and I was talking to people. And I felt somebody touch me from behind. Now, I was worried how the protocol allowed him. You know what he did? He was coming from behind like that. And the protocol were coming close and he told them, shh. Sounding so familiar. He said, who are you? I'm his son. Shh. And the clowns that call themselves protocol, all of them stepped back. And the guy came and touched me. I said, oh. He said, Papa, I know you saw me and you turned. I said, welcome. So you can go for the conference. He said, the truth is, I need money. I gave him. I was ministering the conference and I told the pastors, get some materials, get books. I spotted him buying books for people, just buying books. I was on the pulpit. I said, he would call, he said, come. Take. I have money, take. He was buying books. I said, what? My money? So I just kept quiet. I was watching him. I was angry, very angry. Allow people buy with their money. No, he was helping them, buying books for them. I said, good. Come and meet me after the service. While I was done, I led the people to pray. The power of God had invaded and people were praying. I sneaked. I was entering my car. I saw him. I said, why are you here? Money. I said, see, let me. The Lord said, shh, give him. I knew I was in trouble. We had a program and I ministered on the mystery of the firstborn, the errors of Reuben. I had already told my PA, I said, this is money. You know that boy? When he comes, give him. I don't want to see him. But at the end of the service, my PA brought the money back to me. He said, I didn't see him. I said, there's trouble. I never knew as the word was going on, he broke down in tears. He went back. He didn't ask for money. I had to call him. How did you go back? He was quiet. He said, I'm not at my station. I went to a mountain to pray. He said, everything you preached my life. I'm the firstborn. Poverty in the lineage. And he said quite a lot. And began to pray. Because normally, this guy would send me SMS. It got to a point when I see his call, he said, Daddy, good morning, sir. I will reply, how much? Because I know what he wanted. But this time around, I saw his call about a week after that program. He was calling me back to back. I didn't pick up the phone because I was saying, this guy wants money again. He sent a message. He said, Dad, pick up your phone. My level has changed. I said, okay. Something. So I called him. I said, yes. What is it? He said, I gave a prophecy to someone on the island of Lagos. Lagos has mainlands and islands. He said, I gave a prophecy to somebody in Lagos about the fruit of the womb. And we were barren for over 12 years. The woman took in, the baby just came. And the husband called me to name the baby. I did. And they gave me 4 checks. What was in the check was so heavy, they split it into 4 leaves. He says, I waited, the accounts are heavy. And he thought it was 200 million naira in our currency. $500,000. About $500,000. Thereabout. And he said, my story has changed. And I said, my son. I always knew you were going to be a great guy. Why are you laughing at me? I invested in that life. I sold in his life. And he said, Dad, can you send me your account details? I said, right away. He said, I've got some serious tithes to pay. I said, right away. And he paid the tithe. He said, anytime you are in Lagos, just let me know so I can just say hello to you. I began to go to Lagos more regularly. I began to pass through Lagos more. And I said, I'm passing through. Don't worry, I'm just letting you know. He said, I'm coming. I said, do you have to bother? Don't bother. When the Lord turned again the captivity of Zion, we are like them that dream. There was our mouth filled with laughter and our tongue with singing. The Lord has done great things for them. Whereof they are glad. Somebody say, I reject poverty.
I reject poverty.
Poverty by inheritance. 2 Kings chapter 4. A man was so poor that he used his 2 sons as collateral. He said, bank, I need a loan. This is what do you have? He said, take my son.